is playing multiple positions a hindrance? Like, does that hinder you as a player from making it as a footballer? Because when I look back at some of the stories that I've been through or some of the players that I've seen, and then you look at kind of like the generation we're in now and we look, is playing multiple positions a hindrance? Like, how are we choosing our positions? How are we choosing who we are? And for me, obviously, that's based off of playing style. And one of the things that I want to do with this podcast now going forward is I want to start incorporating more clips from things that I've seen that can kind of bring more context to what's being said. Because I have all these thoughts in my head. A bag of thoughts and a bag of questions and a bag of things that I feel could be conversations. And I kind of just want to use this platform to kind of just lay it out there and let you guys know what I'm thinking, then give my gems and react to what's going on with that. So Gabriel Jesus done an interview with Arsenal and he sat back and the guy asked him a question in regards to like playing style, player positions. And I kind of just want to play it. I'm going to play it. And when I play it, I want everybody to kind of leave what they feel in the comment section. Like this is a thing where we're going to communicate through this type of format, because again, there's a lot of conversations and a lot of things that need to be had. So let me stop wasting time. I kind of just want to get into what's being said, because what's being said for me, a lot of people can take and a lot of people can run through and really understand how to choose their position, and let's have the conversation of is playing multiple positions a hindrance? I know so many people go left and certain people go right. So yeah, let's just do it. Let me play it.
I'm number 9. I'm a striker, you know. I'm so glad. I thank God every day, you know, I can be in live and then I can play in 3-4 positions, different positions. So yeah, but I think my position is 9.
Like the confidence my man's just had, like the confidence he broke out with, it weren't even no hesitation. It's just, I'm a 9. Like, I'm a 9. Like, I'm a number 9. Like, I can play 3-4 positions, but really and truly, I'm a 9. And I feel like a lot of us kind of go through academies, and especially me. I can tell you stories where playing centre midfield, sometimes I was put centre back, sometimes I put right back, sometimes I was put left wing, right wing. And that's because I had the mental capacity and game understanding of how to play football. And that allowed me to be able to play multiple positions. But then it kind of hits that old saying of a jack of all trades and a master of none. And I kind of sit here and I feel like players may need to adopt the mindset that Gabriel Jesus just showed, because really and truly, when you think about it and you look at the players who go on to be some of the best players in the world, or if not, some of the people who has had the most impact in the game, or even then you go the players who make it at such a young age or break through the academy system to be in the first team, are they really playing multiple positions? Are they even capable of playing multiple positions? We can say that off of one thing, and this is the point that I kind of want to go into. And point number 1 is, I feel like, yes, it is a hindrance, but also it isn't. And the reason why it isn't a hindrance, like I said, point number 1 is, I believe football's based on playing styles. And I believe when you're choosing your position based off of a playing style, based off of the talents you possess, right? So when we look at, let's say, someone like a Declan Rice, he ain't a centre back, he ain't a right back. He came through as a defensive midfielder, right? But you look at his playing style and his playing traits, they allow him to be able to play right back potentially, or even centre back potentially. When you look at Gabriel Jesus and you talk about him being a number 9, he's able to take that and the style he plays number 9 in, he takes that and he does the same thing out left, or he does the same thing out right. And this is where I kind of go. For me, point number 1 is, I believe that yes, it is a hindrance, but it isn't a hindrance, because I believe that playing multiple positions need to coincide with the style you have. If it coincides with the style you play, then fair enough. But if it doesn't, then I don't think it's worth it. What manager have you guys really seen look at a player and go, oh yeah, I want to bring him through the academy, I want to make him a player because he can play multiple positions? For me, that doesn't necessarily exist anymore. I think for players to break through that mold and break through that barrier, we have to kind of look at, okay, cool, is he a master of his position? And I know at a young age you ain't going to master the game of football itself, but have you got to a point where you can say, do you know what, I'm somewhat seasoned in this position, I understand it to a point that I can play first team football? And like I said, I believe that if you can, like I said, if you're a defensive midfielder and the way you play defensive midfield is to break up play and start attacks, is to cut off passing lines. Like, we're getting technical here, but certain playing styles that a defensive midfielder may have and may possess, that can be transitioned into centre back. It can, because you've seen centre backs do similar traits. Can that then be transitioned into right back? Yes, it can, because you've seen right backs with similar traits. And for me, that's what I mean by positions have to coincide. For example, let's talk about just literally the fact of the number 10 position. Like, growing up, the number 10 position was something that so many people aspired to get to. So many people wanted to play that position. And it's like, now we're in a day and age where the number 10 position is somewhat dead. But I would say the position is dead, but the style of a number 10 isn't dead. For example, I look at someone like Kevin De Bruyne, who you could say somewhat is a number 10. But the way he's transitioned that and brought that back into a bit more of a deep lying playmaker, someone who's a bit more involved in a game defensively, he still plays that position as a number 10. He's still creating from that position. He's still being able to, like I said to you, be an influence with his passing, picking up the ball in certain different pockets, making certain passes that are penetrating lines that are dangerous, having that assist at the end of it, getting the goals at the end of it. Like, he's taken somewhat of a 10 position and made it into an 8, something that you could probably call it 8.5. I don't know what the hell you're going to call it. But when you look at that, and you put it into context, those positions, they coincide. And that's my point, is that when it comes to this sort of like, does it hindrance you? I believe it does if you're, a striker and being told to go play centre back. I believe it hinders you if you are a left winger and you get told to play defensive midfield. It makes no sense. Like, it actually just doesn't. So for me, it's like, I look at that and I go, okay, cool. Does it hinder? Does it not? And I just say, for me, it's got to coincide with where you want to go. I believe that contributes to now your brand being built. That contributes to a culture being built. Do you know what I mean? And speaking of culture, another conversation kind of sparked up when I was watching a show called Uninterrupted. And it was called The Shop. And Marcus Rashford was on The Shop. Marcus Rashford went there, and there's a few other people in there having a conversation. Obviously, it's LeBron James' show. It's an American show. But what was so sick and was such a vibe that you saw Marcus Rashford get there, go on the show, and opened out an amazing conversation to have. And LeBron James was able to respond in a way that I think that no matter what sport you play, as a player, especially within football, as a footballer, you are able to take what he said. So let me play that clip. I kind of want to go into to how the culture of a club can really build a team up, but not only a team, it can also build you as a player. So let me
They had a coach. He was there 25 or 30 years.
Right.
Yeah. Once he left, United has been...
That's what stability is.
It changed, but the morals of, like, they've worked hard to keep the morals the same. And I don't think they'll ever go because of what he done for the club.
So what is that about? Is that a culture issue?
Absolutely.
So does culture so significantly impact how a team comes to success?
Definitely culture first, and then if you can blend that with the talent and the right pieces, it's the gateway to being successful for a long period of time.
That's fire. That's fire. Like, that's fire. Let's get into that one, because I have like a bag of thoughts that I just want to present, and like kind of just have the conversation on this one. Like, that was fire. And what was mad important was, like, a guy who's never played football before or just sport before is the guy who had the platform. He's an artist. I don't want to get his name wrong, so I'm not going to say it. Like, he said, is that culture? Like, is that culture? Does culture impact success? And like, I looked at that and I was like, yeah, that's mad. That's mad. Like, culture really does impact success. Like, it really does. When you look at some of the players or some of the clubs who have been able to go on and win leagues and win titles and win trophies, look at the players who have won multiple awards, multiple things. Culture has had a massive input in playing within, like, how that person has got to the success, how that person has reached the levels. So you could answer that question, like, does culture really impact success? Does culture have a massive input on a player's success? And then LeBron James hit with what he said. He said, I think it's culture first. And if you can learn to marry culture with talent, I think that is a breed of success there and then. And when you look at what Sir Alex Ferguson's kind of put in, well, what he had in place at Manchester United, like, you can see that there was a culture embedded. When you look at Liverpool, there's a culture embedded. When you look at Manchester City, there's a culture embedded. When you looked at Real Madrid, culture embedded. Barcelona, culture embedded. Messi, and then we can break it down into players. Messi being the epitome of that culture. Iniesta, Xavi being the epitome of that culture. Then when you come here, you got Henderson being the epitome of that culture. Salah, Mane, you go to Man City, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden being the epitome of what the new culture is at Manchester City. When you look at the players at Manchester United at the time, Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, there's a culture. Rio Ferdinand, there's a culture that's embedded, and I think the players then respond off of that culture. What I thought was so amazing about that is now if you flip that and you go, sometimes the culture can come from a manager. And for me, I've always sat there and I've always thought like, I wish my team could be like this. And I'm sure some of you sit there and ask yourself the same question as well. I wish my team was a bit more like this, or I wish my team was a bit more like that. But a lot of us look to managers to be able to kind of cultivate that or put that into place, or be able to feel like, do you know what? Like we're always looking to others. Is what I'm saying, is that we're always looking to other people to put that culture in place. We're always looking at, what about us as players? Well, why don't we look internally and maybe look at ourselves? And maybe say, can the culture be sparked through us? Can the culture be sparked by the way I train or by the way I communicate? And I think that comes down to, of course, confidence as a player. But let's think about it. If you're an academy player and you're coming through the ranks and like you're sitting in the changing room and you just feel like that aura in that changing room ain't right. And you feel like to be able to go on and to support your, current teammates, because let's be real, not all of them are going to make it out of that club. But what if you just wanted to be able to build an ethos that allows your teammates to now go to other clubs and be able to go and breed success there and be able to become a success in other places? Like that's possible to happen. And that can start from a player. So it kind of just made me realize and go, like, can players really breed success into a club? We're looking at Manchester United right now and we're thinking to ourselves, like, what's going on? Like, is there a disconnect? And I believe after watching this interview and I sit and I go, that it's a cultural thing. So I'd love to know what everybody thinks. Like, do you feel like the impact of culture really can improve you as a player, really actually improve your chances of becoming a player? And what that then does as well, it creates this incredible brand that as a player that you can stand on. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in that comment section below, man. Like, I feel like it's just a massive thing, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, comment in the comment section below, or if you're on Spotify or listening through podcasts, make sure you guys just hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram. It's at Lamar Aaron. Like, let's have the conversation. Like, culture is a big thing, and like I said, it makes you stand on that brand alone. But let's move on to the next topic, because when we're talking about brand, and I believe we're in a day and age where brand is probably one of the biggest things within a footballer. I think it's a big contribution to how you can impact a club, and that is broken down in so many different ways. And if you guys are like me, you guys like to learn multiple things, and I like to look back at my little time and think about that. You know what? How can I make things better? Where could I have learned? Where did I go wrong? How can I now take this gems and give it back to others? So I watch a lot of things, and one of the things that I was watching was called Earn Your Leisure. It's a podcast about financial literacy, but they had Rio Ferdinand on there, and he kind of started to break down like the times that how doing things outside of football could be a massive hindrance. Like, it could be a problem. Do you get what I'm saying? And he kind of said that Man United had the issue with him doing it. And if you guys don't know, he started a magazine and things like that. Again, I got a clip, so I don't want to talk about it too much. Let Rio kind of explain himself.
I created this magazine called Five. It's now evolved into like a YouTube channel and stuff like that, the football community. But this was like, when was it? Like 12 years ago, something like that. It's like a digital online magazine, like one of the first ones, won loads of awards on the Apple Store and stuff. But it was like kind of marrying up football and lifestyle and culture, fashion and music. So the first interview was with like 50 Cent. LeBron was on there. We spoke to Drake before he blew. Roger Federer, like big, massive sports stars, entertainment, from the entertainment world, music and film and stuff. And the club was saying to me, what's going on? Why are you doing this? And I'm saying, guys, you don't get these type of stars marrying up with the Man United brand. Like, this is only enhancing what you're doing. This is bringing more eyeballs because people will look at me talking to these guys and go, where's he from? Oh, he's plays at Man United. It's more fans.
First thing I kind of want to listen. That was fire. First thing I kind of want to break down is go. Ain't it crazy how like we have players trying to produce brands and produce things now, and it's still somewhat the similar way where clubs are not okay with players being able to go and do their own thing. But you just saw somebody who was a player himself break down and say, it only helps you. Like, it only helps you. Like you heard the names he dropped, man. He like my man went from Drake to LeBron to Roger Federer. Like, he broke down sports, he broke down rappers, he broke down everything that you could think of. And like you said, it creates this entity and this brand of yourself of, oh, like, man, like, he played for Manchester United, like, and you start associating that player with Manchester United. That only does well for Manchester United as a club. Of course, Rio gets his props and whatever, and he gets to break a new audience. But when he breaks a new audience, a club breaks a new audience. Like, it's kind of like amazing to see. And I kind of want to have the conversation of, like, are we still in this day and age where clubs are still holding on to the fact of it's like a power control. It's like they got their hand on the whole of the Premier League players, and they're going, you do what I say. Oh, look, let's go over here. This brand wants to work with us. Go over here. This brand wants to work with us. Go over there. But when the player kind of breaks out of that mold and goes, well, I want to work with that brand myself. I want to do stuff with that brand. Like, I want to create a magazine. I want to create a clothing line. I want to do this and I want to do that. Like, it sits there and it's like, and they go, well, no. You ain't going nowhere. Like for me, I look at that and go, it's crazy how a company that is run like a business, that is seen as a business, like a football club, they don't see the impact that a brand of a player could have. Now, look, I do believe master your craft first, like 100%. Make sure you get yourself in a position to be able to build a brand. Because what was mad, I was watching a video as well. One of the things that was said was, he was a baseball player, and they were talking to him about, like, how do you build a brand? And his response was, you win. I thought that was quite amazing to hear, like, you win. So for me, your brand will be built. And I believe when you start thinking about other things outside the pitch and building a brand off out the pitch. Now, I ain't talking about investing. I'm talking about like building a brand, because investing in something and building a brand off of that outside of the pitch is two different things. I believe building that brand off the pitch it allows you to be a bigger asset to your club. And I do believe we're getting to that point now where players are going to be judged on their brand off the pitch. Players' deals are going to be signed by, like, what's being done off the pitch. So if you're out here trying to get your deal and you're out here trying to make sure that you get the best numbers possible, and not just financially, I'm talking about maybe a certain amount of years on a contract. Like, your image is important. Your image rights to owning that is important. You know, what you've built and put in place is important. That all contributes to the numbers that you're going to gain from your contract. Like I said to you, how long your contract's going to be, how much money you then make on the back of that. Then on top of that, you got to remember your contribution to shirt sales, this and all these things. I've said this all before. I've said this in multiple videos before. So if you want to go back, go look. But like I said to you, like, as a player, your brand is mad important. And we're in that realm or we're in that day and age now where we're looking like if you come with a few million followers, like, you're kind of, you know, certified. Like, you can lock in a decent amount of a decent contract, you know, and that's the most important thing as a player. That's what we're looking for, is to lock in contracts. So, you know, I do believe your brand contributes to that. And I do believe, even though it's slow and even though it's taking its time, I do believe football is slowly going to go and shift into that space of, okay, cool, we need to allow footballers to be able to do what they need to do because it's only benefiting us. It's one of those things where, like, if you can't beat it, join it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like players, let's just be united. Like, let's just stand together. Let's build shows like this. Like, players, come onto my show. Let's interview. Let's have the conversations about brand, about business, about finances, about helping academy players, about all these things, because it's only going to contribute to like a mysterious union. It's like a mysterious union, like a union that don't exist, but it exists, where you're working together to be able to break certain narratives and break certain lines. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below on that one, because for me, there's multiple things that we can break down and kind of say. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. That's episode 3. Make sure you guys go listen on Spotify. Make sure you go watch on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, comment. Like I said to you, I'm giving away all this information and these gems for free. All that will be received, and I ain't gonna lie, it will mean the most to me, and I appreciate just the love. To be able to just give a like, it's free. To be able to share, it's free. To be able to subscribe, it's free. If you like the content, like the show, you want more, you want to know more things that I can talk about, you want to hear certain specific gems through my lessons at West Ham, whatever it may be, engage, man. Engage.
They picking sides, they crossing the line. I stick to the truth, I'm one of a kind. Gave it a God and follow his signs. Now all of a sudden I'm stuck in my prime. I'm wishing them well, I threw them a dime. They stuck in the shell, they drowning with time.